Hi, I'm Phelous, and this is me reviewing Boogeyman II. Again. Yeah, that's right, it's not even called The Boogeyman II, it's just called Boogeyman II. But to be fair, it is called Boogeyman II most of the time with a Roman numeral 2, whereas the newer Boogeyman 2 is called Boogeyman 2 with the Arabic numeral 2. So really, it's not confusing at all. So what happens after Ulli Lommel makes one of his bigger hits of a movie? Well, he refuses studio involvement and makes the next one an independent production. And makes something that apparently even Lommel didn't find worthy of transferring to DVD because he'd rather have you get his director's cut. And how different could his director's cut or Redux version really be? Well, you'll barely find any footage of what actually was Boogeyman 2 on this. Instead, 95% of the footage is just the Boogeyman getting replayed to us, with an occasional never-changing shot of Ulli Lommel explaining what happened to some police who are supposedly off-screen. Oh yeah, because that's exactly what I want to see, some stupid talking head summarizing a movie. The only footage of the actual Lommel Boogeyman 2 that shows up in this version is either shown as stills or sped up. And kinda strangely, Lommel is playing the same character he played in the actual Boogeyman 2. So the director's cut is a continuation of a movie you can't easily find because of it being replaced by the director's cut. Well, it mostly contains footage of the first movie that you can easily find. Lommel, that's brilliant. The first 3 minutes of this thing are just shots of Lacey getting driven around by the butler while text appears on a black background just to immediately show us what a treat we're in for. Okay, that's just the starting credits. I'm sure I'm just being overly bitchy. Let's see how the opening scene draws us in.
Action. Cut!
Ugh. Really, Lommel? You refused big studio involvement for this?
Okay, the reason I put up the money for these pickup scenes is we can get a little damn skin into the thing.
That would just be pure exploitation.
You don't understand. In America, exploitation is a genre.
Well, I sure hope so for certain someone's sake.
Pointless Brad cameo.
But really, what's the point of this? Do we really need to be paying attention here?
Quiet, please. Let's get rolling. No talking, no walking. Stop this. Come on. Quiet.
Hi.
Settle down.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Well, considering that the characters aren't even paying attention, I'll take it that we really don't need to be either. After Lommel's done convincing us that in a fictional world he can at least direct exploitation, we get random inner exposition from Lacey.
It was really nice of Bonnie to invite me out here. I needed a holiday. It's funny, but when we were in school back in Maryland, Bonnie was the last person I thought I would go to for peace and quiet.
Well, I hope you liked that, and after some truly exciting discussion of their wine, we finally get to something with at least a little point.
They caught the murderer yet?
They'll never catch him because there is no murderer.
Somebody had to have done it.
The story may be difficult for you to accept. I'll have to go way back to when I was 3 years old. My mother had this lover who hated Willie and me.
No! No! Why would you tell that story? The murders were caused by my mother's ex-lover's evil mirror ghost. Sure hope I don't sound crazy! Other than the stupidity of telling this story, it wouldn't be too bad if it was just Lacey quickly summing it up, but oh no, it's gotta play the whole damn starting scene of the Boogeyman again.
20 years later, then we got a letter from Mother.
Oh, come on, a flashback of you reading a letter? Really? Let's just go to the... Okay, so now we're to take it that she's telling them about her brother being a murderer dream? 1, I'm amazed she remembers that. 2, what relevance does that have to anything? In the context of the first movie, it was just a misdirection to make us think that Willie was the killer, but here it would just sound completely ridiculous for her to be telling this. So then I had a dream that my brother kept women in the closet to stab. That really has nothing to do with the rest of my story, but I guess I just really liked that dream. Well, if that wasn't silly enough, Lacey then proceeds to tell them how she went to go see John Carradine, and we get a flashback within a flashback of a scene already flashed back to. And I thought it was silly enough in the first movie. They just added a whole new level of pointless. If you're gonna watch this, have the fast forward button ready. But we can at least see something new in the scene, as this time it's full screen, so boom mic time, yay!
Your husband probably didn't believe you, right?
Thought I was going crazy.
No, I don't think you're crazy at all.
And the recapping goes on. You know, Lommel, if you liked the Boogeyman so much, maybe you should have gone with a big studio again instead of just making a flashback movie. Though, considering your recut turned this from 45% to 95% flashback, that seemed to be what you liked.
So much for the mirror, huh?
Except there was one small piece missing.
What? No! She can't tell this part of the story. The dream and therapy session were dumb enough, but at least she was there for those. She has no way of knowing a piece of the mirror was left there for sure, let alone explaining how they died.
Yes, I remember it well. Almost like it was a memory I could actually conceivably remember. Phelous threw a glass of water at a mirror and it burst into flames. Good times. Good times. You know, I'm not quite sure why I like that memory the most. Fact, I wasn't actually there. I didn't watch that video, so I couldn't have even seen it, or the fact that Phelous got burned!
May I serve dessert? Would anyone care for dessert? I have prepared loquats and kiwi fruit with a dash of Cointreau.
Wow, this guy is just so natural. How much you want to bet that this guy was just someone that Lommel knew and not a real actor? I don't know, hard to tell.
Do you think she's dangerous?
Oh, okay, now I see the benefit of telling the mere ghost story.
I feel so bad for her.
Well, aren't you just all over the place? Also, the butler spies on their conversation? Why? 'Cause he's the best or something? I don't know. There never ends up being a real reason for it.
Lacey's experience would make a hell of a movie.
It's just be like exploiting her.
I don't see how it could hurt her.
With friends like these, who needs... I don't want to finish.
Look at her, Mommy.
Oh yeah, Bonnie and Mickey Lommel have a daughter. I have no idea what happens to her. She just kind of disappears later, but I guess they needed someone to say Boogeyman. Purpose fulfilled. We then cut to Lacey, who's searching around because she's misplaced a box with junk in it. I don't know how she managed to forget she put it under a pillow, especially when this is the woman who can remember things that she wasn't there for.
This is the piece of mirror that I told you about. Only I must touch it.
What? How would she... Why would she... What? I just don't... That makes no sense! Okay, first, let's say she did go back and get that piece of the mirror from the graveyard. Then why wouldn't she just pour water on it and be done with it? No, I'll keep it around because that could only cause good. In fact, I'll travel around with it and show it off to people, even though it just shining on them might get them killed. And the only she can touch it thing? How do you change the rules when you spend the better part of this movie just flashing back to the previous one?
I didn't mean to bum you out.
Oh, you didn't? the light. Just like the Potomac in summer.
So I really don't understand if this butler's supposed to be evil beforehand here, or if he's just really nosy and likes to give ominous stares.
Kevin had stepped on a piece of the mirror, and it had stuck on the bottom of his shoe.
Oh, come on! Lacey didn't even know Kevin had done that, and she can't tell this part of the movie in any detail. Even if she had heard of the deaths and thought they were magic mirror related, that's all she could say! Plus, you know, the scene was pointless enough in the first film!
Where I come from, we don't have boogeymen, we only have goblins.
Hey guys, this isn't really hard to hear or anything, is it?
Goblins and boogeymen all come from the same make-believe world.
I really don't know how you screw up your sound in this manner. It seems even sillier when some people talk without the echo during the scene.
Joseph looks like he comes from that world.
Lacey, for some reason, asks about the butler, and Lommel tells her that Bonnie found him walking down a hill one day. Seriously, that's the extent of the story. And quite possibly finding it rude they are talking about him like he's not there, the butler leaves and touches the shit out of the mirror, obviously infecting him with the mirror virus. Oh, this is just so silly. Anyway, that night it's time to meet some people so we can actually have some deaths in this movie other than just in flashbacks. And Lommel shows off the amazing lighting technique of pointing a flashlight up at people from the floor. They're all here to meet Lacey because they're super excited to make the evil mirror ghost movie. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when there's nothing more to it yet than a silly story.
Why don't you tell them about what happened in the barn?
Okay, if by the barn you mean not the barn, and we'll just replay the entire ending of the movie, which seems to have made people go into kaleidoscope vision.
Could I hear that bit about the kids on the beach again? I love that part.
You love that part? And there you go, that means she told them that in detail magically. And of course, everyone there immediately thinks this is the greatest idea for a movie ever.
I'm an actress, you know.
It's not right.
Oh no, the part of you would be a wonderful role.
Maybe you're better off forgetting this whole thing. Forget you ever met me.
Maybe, just maybe, Lacey, if you didn't think it was a good idea for people to know the mirror story, you shouldn't have told everyone! Yeah, mouth breather powers are back, and we get to see what Boogeyman II does best. Have a guy and girl split off from the rest of the group, talk about making the movie, and then dying in some silly way. But first, the butler has to try the drill and clippers out on the air to make sure they work. Well, I don't know if the butler himself actually does any of the killing, or just walks around shining the mirror shard on things to possess them. And that's actually the best looking death in the film, because you could barely tell what happened.
You know, this project of Mickey's is a perfect vehicle for you. You know, I can get you in this picture.
You think so?
There isn't even a rough draft of the script. There's nothing more than a concept. It's a little early to talk casting, isn't it?
What do you say?
Well, I might have called the other deaths the best looking ones in the film in a technical sense, but round 2 here is really the best deaths in the film because they are some of the dumbest deaths I've ever seen. That's right, we just seen an electric toothbrush shoot to the back of someone's head, and a woman died from merely getting shaving cream sprayed at her face. Exploding animated gift birds make more sense than this! Okay, the toothbrush went through the guy's head. Not gonna happen no matter how much pushing you did, but we'll say the mirror worked its magic. But how did shaving cream kill her? Did it become acidic or something? I don't understand.
Mickey used her in his last movie. Love you, huh? We'll have lunch.
I thought it was real.
To me, people are people are people.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, without people, there wouldn't be anybody.
Is this a contest for who can spout the most pointless dialogue, or just Lommel's way of trying to numb our minds so we don't put too much thought into this?
I'm thinking maybe this cracked mirror thing is musical.
Oh, what a good cut, not jarring at all. Well, he gets killed basically right in front of this woman and she doesn't see it, but oh, that's just the start of the stupidity of this scene because a light tap on the ass from the ladder and...
Bernie!
I don't know how you accidentally get your mouth around a tailpipe, but if you do, I've heard of this weird technique to get out of that situation. It's called taking your mouth back off it. Anyway, for a change of pace, we cut to a boring scene of no consequence. And then right back to another man and woman discussing the film, and they die in really, really silly ways again. Via a corkscrew and tongs. Yes, tongs kill this girl.
Mirror's gone. Come on, have some coffee with me, Lacey.
I really don't need any coffee, Bonnie.
What the hell happened to the lights?
Can't say anything. Where is everybody?
And then it's finally time for the big confrontation of Lacey and the mirror-possessed butler. Oh, well that's the end of that then, because the mirror dies with fire in the water, right? I mean, you even showed that in your first movie flashbacks. It'd be pretty silly if you didn't remember that. Okay, yeah, they're gonna drown the butler.
Oh, very nice. But don't swallow. I'll use it in one of my next pictures. Bernie, I'm glad you haven't lost your touch, bud.
Oh, get it? Because that dummy looked so real before that Lommel thinks while he was out briefly that realistic dummies of all his friends dead were made, and yeah, he's an idiot. So with the butler drowned, the day is saved. Or is it?
Since I knew the secret of the evil force that inhabits the mirror, I was immune to it.
Oh yeah, just like last time when you figured it out. You were just so immune to it, weren't you?
But it used Joseph and possessed him to seek revenge against those who wanted to exploit it, who believed that my story was just fun and games.
And whose fault is that? Whose fault is it for not destroying the mirror? Yours!
I feel I should see Joseph's grave just one more time.
Wait, they buried him themselves? Why? How'd they get away with this? Who they say murdered everyone else? Well, who cares? Cause it's time for more complete nonsense as Joseph's hand, still with the mirror, pops up, blowing Bonnie up in the car. So you're saying they didn't even take the mirror shard from his hand, even though it should have been destroyed as it was in water? If you're gonna show every clip of the mirror getting destroyed in water from the previous film, don't suddenly contradict that! But hey, I guess the sequel/director's cut follows some of Boogeyman II's logic, as Lommel's character here can remember things that he wasn't there for.
It all happened 22 years ago. My memory has really faded. Some of it exists like in fast forward. Slow motion, black and white stills.
Well, I guess the police were amazingly slow to react to the deaths if it was 22 years ago. Also, Lommel's magic memory can of course tell every little detail of a story he heard 22 years ago.
He actually one day came walking down the street in this butler outfit and rang the bell and asked me whether he could serve me. So he became our butler. And I think he committed all these murders.
It never got brought up who killed everyone? You're amazing, Lommel. You just make a point more and more confused every time you touch it.
Lacey claims it was the boogeyman, but I don't believe in the boogeyman. And this fireball and the car of my wife blew up and yeah, maybe it was the boogeyman. I'll stand trial for these killings, no problem. I have nothing to hide. I'm innocent. The boogeyman did it.
Well, I can only think of one appropriate way to end this video, And that's by telling you guys the story of how I reviewed The Boogeyman. I remember it like it was just a week ago, pretty much. Oh man, those were the days. Mostly, I remember it in fast forward and black and white stills because it was events I was actually present for. Ask me to tell you a story that I wasn't there for, and I could tell you that in perfect clarity. Wait, is this really the ending I'm going with? So kinda, the ending skit I wrote for the Boogeyman II review, it kinda sucks, so I'm gonna scrap that and do another one. Do you want to play Lacey in it?
Yeah, sure I do, but if you're just asking me now, then how come you're already recording?
Ugh, don't point that out, kinda. That's being too meta.
Meta? What the hell is meta?
I don't know. Meta's some term that people use to describe how I am in my videos.
Oh, okay, so by meta they mean boring and not funny at all.
I knew there's a reason I haven't had you in a video in a long time. My sister took her mouth off the exhaust pipe and I threw that toothbrush in the garbage shortly after. I don't believe in the Boogeyman, but it was the Boogeyman that made me do that lame ending skit. You can put me on trial for making this review, but I'm innocent. The Boogeyman did it.
I don't like this movie, doesn't look too friendly. This monster seems so fake, my nerves are gonna break. Phelous, don't let me down, you need to be around. Grab that running one up and blast that sing a new one. This movie looks shitty. Phelous, so Phelous, bring a multi-comedy of Phelous, so Phelous, and some horror movies, so Phelous, so Phelous. I don't care about how you sound, but Phelous, so Phelous. What's your opinion about?
Cut.
Cut!